Hello, YouTube. Crazy Hungarian Joe here. Kind of doing a little impromptu live show. Sunday afternoon. Football game started, but I'm watching a documentary on Tubi called Lost Heroes. It's kind of a little story about the Canadian superheroes after the United States decided not to share any of their fun comics with our friends up north. They developed their own characters. It's pretty interesting, actually. And I had, because in the whole scheme of things, if you think about it, Superman's half Canadian. Because I believe it was Siegel who's from Canada. Or was it Schuster? I don't remember. But anyway, no, I just thought I would do a live stream here to see how that works out. Don't really expect anybody to be watching. I did post the link if anybody wanted to join on for a little bit. It's not going to be very long. We're just going to kind of show some couple of comics I got. I got an AOK from my big bro, Todd, down in Missouri. Kind of a nice little surprise. He sent me a bunch of comic books, which is kind of cool. So I was going to show some of those off. We were going to have a live stream last night. It just had too much crap going on. So, yeah. Hope everybody's doing okay. I noticed there's a couple of people watching, but it's okay. It's fine. I'm testing things out, seeing how things work. It's exciting. But, yeah, so hope everybody's having a nice weekend. Hey, Matt, what's up, dude? Kind of excited for our movie show. We got a good one, too. I was looking into it. I'm going to watch it later on. And, yeah, no, we've just been kind of excited for this. It's been a couple of weeks there. Hey, Lady Braven, how you doing? Just took us a couple of weeks, Matt and I, to get the thing going. My hat's off to him. I haven't been able to really jump on and help him out quite a bit, but things will start getting easier. So, but yeah, I'm kind of excited for that. I think it'll be kind of fun. Ooh. And we got a guest. Hey, Rob.
Hey, Joe. How's it going?
Good. How you doing?
I'm better today. I got really depressed yesterday.
Yeah.
It sucks not having a laptop.
Oh, yes. Especially it's like when I talked to you yesterday, it's like I imagine your files are just loaded with stuff.
Yeah, there was a lot of AI stuff. I also lost my list of all the comics I have because I stupidly did not have that backed up. So I'll take the laptop to you break, I fix tomorrow, and hopefully they can retrieve something or get it working again. But
oh yeah,
so they're not. We don't know that they're lost yet, but like the videos that I've shown you behind the scenes that the public hasn't seen yet, those were all on there. The elaborate ones, the long music video ones, those were all on there. So I'm really, really hoping I can get them back, because if those weren't on there, I'd probably just not even take it in and spend the money to get it fixed, because all the other stuff can be recreated. But those are like, I do not want to lose those.
That sucks, man. It just petered out on you, or
it conked out in the middle of the show. I was on a Razor Comics show on his live stream for his birthday, and it just stopped. That's it.
Oh, man.
And I thought it was going to be like the power supply going to it, but I checked it with my meter and it's fine. So it's the laptop itself. It doesn't even attempt to start. I took the back off to check the little connection in the back to see if something's unplugged or it was worn out or something. Nothing there that I can see. So hopefully they can, hopefully the hard drive, the little drive in there is good, and they still have some way of maybe retrieving files off of it or something. I don't know what they can do and can't do. So But there's a chance still that it will be good. So hopefully. But yeah, so I'm on my new laptop. It looks like the camera's a little better than the old one. So
yeah, I was gonna say it looks a lot. There's more color to you. Either that, or you're just stressed out.
Well, it could be that I'm stressed out too. I don't know. Yeah. I don't look as washed out on this one. So
yeah. I was doing a little bit of lighting. Yeah, no, because we were gonna. I mentioned we were gonna kind of be night. We talked last week about maybe doing a show every Saturday night.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get connect whatever, and wanted to have one last night, but just too much crap going on, and so I just figured I'd try it on my own today and just do like an impromptu. Those are always fun,
Yeah.
Who knows? Just kind of jump on there but yeah, so that's what decided to do. See who wanted to pop on and kind of figured, I'm like, well, maybe Rob's watching. Should I send him something? Or what? Yeah, it'll be exciting.
No, I got the notification.
So we got Matt here.
I was just sitting here thinking about what I should be doing, and didn't feel like really delving into any other projects. Hey, Matt.
Hello. How you guys doing?
Yeah.
So
that's all boring. Hey, Matt, what's up, dude? Good. How you doing? Kind of pizza were you eating?
Homemade pizza. We take like a tortilla.
Well, what'd you have on it?
Marinara sauce on it with pepperoni and stuff. And put it in the oven for about 10 minutes or 15 minutes.
Sounds good.
10 minutes. Mom said 10 minutes. I said 15. If I'd put it in there, it would have been good.
Huh? Yeah.
Sounds good. I might try that.
That's usually what I do, man. You take the low carb wraps.
Yeah.
And you get the good pizza sauce. I just cake it with veggies and meat and just it's like all over my face. And
we set up peppers and onion, pepperoni and sausage on it.
Oh God, yeah. See,
it was actually heavier than the tortilla.
Yeah, exactly. No, we had you guys remember the Kmart subs? The subs you could buy at Kmart?
I love those things.
Yeah. Dude, I have the recipe for those.
Uh-oh.
So that's kind of what we ate today. But you take the Oscar Mayer bologna, you take the Oscar Mayer honey ham, and you take salami. You get just a slice of American cheese, and then you get mustard, tomato, onion, really thin sliced onion, some lettuce. Banana peppers is the key to these things. Banana peppers. Oh, that's so good. I remember like back in the day, that was the only place really to go shopping was Kmart up here at least.
I remember.
So
I'm like you do. I live in Southeast Kentucky, so I know what you mean.
Oh God, but you'd walk in.
It's amazing to think how big that brand was and how big other brands have been and stuff. And they're gone, And
it got real. It got real when they put on that blue light special thing.
Oh yeah, dude. It was like people running and pushing you out of the way. But yeah, no, Friday nights, it's like we'd go, and I always remember when I started, remembering things and experiencing stuff. But that's when the Star Wars toys came out back in 78 is when they really started popping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'd go there on Friday. We'd have our $5, our allowance that we got for help with chores. And for $5 you could buy 2 action figures and a sub and something to drink. So that's what my brother and I did. We'd buy action figures and the subs and get some sodas and oh man. But yeah, so we made those. You just whatever on any kind of bread, but yeah. Nice. So you have to make sure that onion's thin though. Really thin onion.
And if you want to get the real effect, you need to wrap it in cellophane and let it sit in the refrigerator for at least an hour.
Yeah. Then it all just kind of squinches together and the flavors start hitting. Heck yeah. So yeah, no,
Exactly.
nothing.
That's what you do.
Yeah, no, the weather wasn't decent. It's pretty decent up here today. It's about 28
Well, it's 49.
degrees.
It's 49 today here, so
See, that's
better.
a heat wave.
Yeah, it's a heat wave. Oh, it is here now because it was in the teens and the low 20s. But I know that right there would be a heat wave where you're at.
Oh yeah, right now. Suppose it's
Yeah.
what 110 degrees, Rob, down in Florida, or what?
It's actually been like 40s the last few days.
Oh,
It's
really?
starting to warm up now. I think it's around 60 today. So
It snowed in northern Florida and southern Louisiana the other.
yeah, we got
ago.
hit with that snowstorm too. And I didn't, but I just got rain. But it was cold, and it turned cold, and it was raining for like 4 days.
That's awesome. I guess I'd rather have rain than snow.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. You know, as long as
it's not freezing,
as long
rain.
as it's got somewhere to go.
Yeah. Yeah, no, Matt, I'm watching on Tubi. There's this, and Rob, I don't know if you heard that or not, but it's called Lost Heroes. It's a documentary started watching it about when the United States stopped sending Canada comics like DC. There was so they had to create their own superheroes.
Okay.
So it's a documentary on the characters that were created in Canada, the counterparts. Like they actually had a Commander Steel up in Canada before there was a Commander Steel in the United States.
So this is what time frame are we talking? Like World War II or something? Or
yeah, a little bit after World War II.
Okay, so paper.
Why did they stop shipping the comics to Canada?
Oh, I don't know. It's just they had an issue with what was going on, or who knows.
Well, they may have to do it again here in a little bit.
And part of it might have just been paper shortages if it was like around wartime.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was something with the something with taxes, or there was something with tariffs. See, there's just history repeating itself.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's a really interesting documentary,
A lot of comics these days are
printed. Yeah, I'd never heard of that. So that would be.
A lot of the comic books are printed in Canada now.
Yeah, I know. Up in Toronto. A lot of the independents, I believe, are over in Vancouver, printed out over there.
Yeah, well, if you think $4.99 a comic's bad.
I know.
Yeah, I'm going to quit mine after a point. I love like this series here, and stuff like that. But at some point, I'm just going to have to cut the cord because I got to get all this old stuff.
Oh yeah,
I really believe at some point it will mostly just go digital, and there will be like maybe independent creators still making physical comics, but like as far as DC and Marvel and stuff like that goes, I think they'll just
that would be a sad day.
Do a different thing, yeah.
With the
Trusty Sidekick says, I remember watching that documentary too. Tubi's great for that kind of stuff. Yes, it is.
They had something on there one time. It was like a pop culture show, and it was hosted by Mark Hamill. He had like a little puppet sidekick.
Yep.
I watched the name of it, but it didn't last long. But it should have lasted longer than it did.
Because that one guy brought the hilt of the lightsaber that was used in Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
And he wanted it authenticated. So he went and talked to Mark Hamill about it, and Hamill's like, I don't know, we used like 10 of them.
They had to be something, and I'm an actor, yeah. It's like everybody got mad at Mark Hamill because of that the second new Star Wars movie, the one where Luke's like, oh, I don't want to do it no more, I'm not teaching you. And everybody got mad at him. I'm like, why are you getting mad at him? Because he was saying, I told the director, I don't know if my character would do that, but you're the director. I can't do nothing about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I have to do what you tell me to do. You're paying me to take direction from you.
Mm-hmm. So, that was the only thing that bothered me about that movie was how they, you gave Han Solo his goodbye, and then you just kind of, there's no backstory really on why Luke would want to kill his nephew, and you're just like, what's going on here?
I think he would have stuck it out and tried to help him. He wouldn't have done that because.
Well, yeah, I mean,
if he was like that, then why didn't he do that with his dad and be like, I better just kill my dad? Because no, he didn't. He said, I'm a Jedi like my father before me. I'm not going to fight him.
Right.
He threw his
Yeah.
lightsaber. He's like, screw you, dude.
Yeah, there should have been a series of movies in between there explaining what the hell happened to Luke.
Exactly. But the third installment was not half bad.
No, that was a nice little nostalgia there. That was kind of nice.
I just like the second one, but the guy that directed the second one, I read he didn't even have any experience on a movie that high of a budget, and they just like, here, we like this indie film you made, and sometimes that pays off with somebody like Tarantino, and sometimes that don't pay off. You got a guy like that don't even know how to. But Tarantino's different because he kind of like studied film his whole life, just watching movies. Yeah. So I think if you'd let Tarantino. If you put Tarantino, cut him loose and said, here's a Star Trek story, make a script out of it, he could do it.
He has a Star Trek script. He wants to make a Star Trek movie. Yeah.
Well, this next one's supposed to be his last movie. I'm kind of bummed about that because I don't know. You know how some of these guys are, though. I don't think they're ever truly retired.
He won't. I really like that Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I really like that.
I love the whole thing, and it was a happy ending, for.
Well, yeah.
Like we all wish that Sharon Tate had made it, and everybody was like, "Well, that's kind of weird." But I said he did that in Inglourious Bastards. Obviously, we didn't kill like all the Nazis in a theater, but I just like and it's like those. It was kind of a takeoff on those '70s movies, like where they kind of would just do fantastical, like like he's a big fan of the Grindhouse stuff and.
Yeah,
those exploitation films, and it kind of shows in movies like that. But
Nazi.
I'm excited about this movie review thing. I don't know when we're going to record the video, and we probably can't show much of it. We'll probably just show the trailer, and I got some still frame shots of the movie, and we'll just talk about our honest opinion of it. I've already watched half of it today, but I had to turn it off because it's got my mom and my aunt are here. And it's got nudity in it, so
you got boobies.
Yeah, well, you got two ex-playmates in it. There's probably.
I know when you told me that, I was like, "What? There's a giant snake."
Yeah.
And then you're like, "Playmates," and I'm like, "You had me at giant snake, dude."
Yeah. Well, get this. There's a scene in the movie. I'm not going to blow up for a second. He goes, "We got to find that snake. It got loose." He said, "It's been infected by cancer-ridden rats, and it's very extreme." No, it was something like. Irradiated rats with cancer had infected it. And so it was, I'm like, who was writing this? I think somebody banged this script out in an hour, locked in a hotel room somewhere, and just like, what could be wrong with a snake? He's been infected with radioactive rats who have cancer.
Was it Kevin Eastman?
That's brilliant.
Trusty sidekick. You can actually watch that Fantastic Four movie from the early 90s on YouTube.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have seen it or not, but the first half of that movie is actually really freaking good. It's really good.
And then it goes off the rails.
As soon as they started including the special effects, which they had no money for, it's like Johnny he flames on like once in the whole movie. Besides that, he's just running around like Johnny Storm.
And you watch the documentary, the movie was doomed before it was even started because they had no intention. They let Corman make this. Well, we'll make it. We're not going to release it because they were never going to let him release that movie.
Yeah. Well, it's like Roger Corman's whole theory is, I don't want it good. I want it done by Tuesday.
Oh yeah, they would. There were stories that they would go down in the Philippines in the 80s, and they would go down there and film 10 movies because it was cheaper to shoot down there all at the same time. And a lot of times you see the same cast. There's a Carradine movie. It's like one of those sword and sandal movies, or you know what I'm talking about. And it's like a Conan the Barbarian ripoff. And you see people in that movie that were in other movies. The other extras were in it. And I swear David Carradine had to be drunk.
Probably.
Half the time he's slurring his words. I'm not trying to disparage the dead, but I'm pretty sure he had a drinking problem at that time. And so in some of those movies, you can tell, like, what was the name of that movie? There's a movie where these terrorists take over a high school in the 80s. And the guy played the rifleman, what's his name? Chuck Connors is in it. And
Is that class of 84?
Yeah, that's it. And he seems like he is hammered half that movie.
Probably.
And I mean, again, I'm not going to disparage him.
He
but
probably
I mean,
had to be just to get through the movie. He's like,
Yeah,
I can't
just to
believe
get
I'm
through
in this fucking movie.
yeah, probably had to have a couple martinis before he even walked out of his trailer. Even if he had a trailer for that. I don't know if they had a budget for trailers for the actors in that movie, but
who knows? Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I know. Back when Roger Corman first started, because he did. Did he do Pit and the Pendulum? But he did The Raven.
yeah,
He did a lot of the old Edgar Allan Poe stuff with
yeah.
Vincent Price, Peter Lorre, and Boris Karloff. Nicholson's actually in one of them. One of Nicholson's first movies, The Terror. And
yeah.
they just filmed. They're like, well, we got Karloff for another week. And it'd be like, oh, well, hey, let's put a quick script together and make another movie since we got Boris Karloff for another week. And they'd use the same set pieces. They'd use the same costumes. It was just like, yeah, like, take advantage of it.
And a lot of those studios like that, there was like other motives besides making quality films. Like I watched a documentary about Canon Films, and they were basically, from what they alluded to in the documentary, they were basically using the studio to launder money.
Yeah.
So, because they're not going to put it on the screen. Like when they actually tried to go for it, like they're like, we're going to do this Superman. We got the Superman franchise. We're going to do Superman 4, A Quest for Peace, right? Well, they started realizing how much it was going to cost to do the practical effects to make it look as good as like Superman 1 and 2. And they're like, no, we can't do that. No, you're cutting that. And they just started slashing the budget, slashing it. And then they got the guy that played the bad guy in it, if you remember. They cast him because he was a Chippendale dancer.
And and they probably barely paid him anything.
Yeah, he probably didn't get a dime. And then they somehow managed to get Gene Hackman in it.
Hackman's one of my favorite actors of all time, but you can really tell, he loved to do movies. He loves doing movies for the art. He retired now, but man, that paycheck must have been nice. It's like, hey, you want to play Lex Luthor again? He's like,
that's a good point, because Michael Caine, I remember interviewing, they asked him, what are your memories of making Jaws 4: The Revenge? He said, well, I have a lot of fond memories of making that movie. It paid for my house.
Yep. Got a nice house out of the deal, yeah. God, that's crazy.
But that's, you got to be a professional, right? You were an actor. You got to be. It doesn't matter what movie you're in. You
gotta. Nobody sets out to make a bad movie,
right?
This is not a bad movie, but
I don't know about that.
I think they do now. I think like they made a movie with Rutger Hauer a few years ago called Hobo with a Shotgun.
Oh, dude,
sure their intention was to make a bad movie. They
had
the guy from the Trailer Park Boys. They ran over his head.
Ricky.
Yeah.
Ricky. But no, I couldn't. I've watched that movie once. I don't know if it was the way the camera was or the lighting in the movie when you're watching it.
Yeah.
That movie made me feel sick to my stomach.
It had like this like herky jerky like feel to it. Like I had that experience with, even though I like it, was the some of those trauma films are like that. Like it's just like the cuts are just like snap, 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 snap. I just kind of like watching this movie. You'll see when you watch it, and you worked in the movie industry, and you'll see it probably better than I will. But you can see they leave the microphone. You can see the boom in the shot. You can see a cameraman in the mirror. And but like even it doesn't have to be a bad movie. Because I was talking about being professional, you got to overthink. You don't want to overthink things, because there's a story that Mark Hamill tells about doing the first Star Wars film with Harrison Ford and everybody, and like they're they get the scene where they just got through shooting the scene where they're in the trash compactor, and R2D2 stops it from crushing and they get out. And, there's water in there, and there was like knee deep water. And he says, wait a minute, shouldn't they hadn't, they're all dry now, and his hair's dry. And Mark Hamill looks at George Lucas, and he's like, wait a minute, shouldn't my hair be wet because we just got out of this water? And Harrison Ford looks at him and goes, it's not that kind of movie, kid.
Yeah, I've heard that. Mark Hamill's got some really good stories. He's a pretty cool guy.
He also always leaves people when he signs stuff. He always leaves them a little funny joke when he signs it. And he always signs it uniquely. I like that. I like that about him. He seems to be like, he kind of like several years ago, he embraced that he's what he's best known for. Even though he was a good actor, he was in you remember Corvette Summer? It was a pretty good movie. It had Annie Potts was in it with him, and then he was in Big Red One with Lee Marvin.
Lee Marvin, that's a good movie. That's a good war
very
movie.
Good movie.
Heck yeah.
And but yeah, we got all kinds of stuff we can review. We got we can do Hammer Studios stuff.
Oh,
we got Andy Sedaris. Hey
Higgy, what's up, dude?
Hey, buddy.
Just doing a little impromptu live stream.
Links in chat if you want to come on.
Yeah,
I got that from Dan Alvin.
that's awesome.
Like one of those little Disney Wonderful World of Disney reading.
I liked The Black Hole. I thought that was kind of a fun movie.
It's a good movie.
I haven't watched it. Yeah.
Got Ernest Borgnine in it. Ernest Borgnine was in everything in the 70s and 80s. And he's actually getting one of my favorite all-time movies of all time, which is The Wild Bunch by Sam Peckinpah. And it's probably one of the best. If nobody's ever seen that movie, we should do a stream like this. We'll just talk about movies. I like this kind of stuff. Because I really got into
Isn't that what you're going to be doing?
Yeah. I meant just talk about all movies, not just one. But we could also do other.
Oh, it will evolve into a discussion of whatever you guys mentioned, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it always does. So
that the last 20 minutes of Wild Bunch is one of the best endings to a movie.
And it was improvised. The whole
it was just bloody and woo. That was good.
Kind of controversial. It came out like 1969, and this is what should we have this violent? Should we make it? We're gonna let they wanted to give it a harder rating than they had.
Yeah,
I think so. And but it influenced so many filmmakers. John Woo, Quentin Tarantino, all these guys that did these action movies or stuff especially like John Woo and stuff. He talks about it all the way in Hong Kong, and he was influenced by it. So
yeah,
and you can see it in his movies.
Yeah. Sam Peckinpah was. If you ever get to watch any kind of documentary with him, hey Alberto, any kind of documentary about Sam Peckinpah, he was a tough dude, man. He did not mess around. He would throw stuff at you. He was but he wasn't cruel. He'd want to get out of it
done the way he wanted it done.
Yeah. But I know that movie he did with Dustin Hoffman, that Straw Dogs.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen that. He wanted.
That's a good movie.
I mean, the movie's about those guys that break into his house and they, try to get his wife and they're doing all that stuff. And Hoffman's just kind of a little wimp, I guess, if you want to, that's what you're going to call him. But he really got savage, man. But Straw Dogs is a pretty good movie.
Well, a lot of times also, have you ever seen Bring Me the Head of Alfredo Garcia?
Yep.
Warren Oates, he's a Kentuckian. He was from Kentucky.
Yeah.
And actually, two of the coolest character actors of all time are from Kentucky. Warren Oates and what's his name? He was in Paris, Texas. You know what I'm talking about?
Harry Dean Stanton.
Yeah, he was from Kentucky too. Also, Ned Beatty was from Kentucky.
Yeah.
And
he got dabbled in Arkansas, which is weird,
Yeah.
Yeah, Higgy, that Ernest Escape from New York is one of the greatest. That's one of my favorite all-time freaking movies. I love that movie.
Snake Plissken's one of the greatest characters of all time. Just,
See, they wanted
cool. They got the eye
they
patch,
came so they came so close to getting Clint Eastwood to play that part because they wrote that part for Clint Eastwood.
Well, they got what's his name in it with it? The bad guy,
Lee Van Cleef.
Yeah, Lee Van Cleef.
And what he wanted to do is he wanted Eli Wallach to play the president, the Donald Pleasance.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So you would have had the good, the bad, and the ugly in it. But it got to a point where Eastwood just other things came up, so he bailed out of it. Eli Wallach bailed out of it. So they said, well, it was written when Kurt Russell was like, so how do I play this part? And he's like, well, play it like Clint Eastwood because that's who we wrote it for. So, Kurt Russell's got that Clint Eastwood style, delivery on the line. So that's pretty cool. But yeah.
They were also in Once Upon a Time in America, Once Upon a Time in the West. Sergio Leone wanted those three to be back and get shot by Charles Bronson, but they couldn't get him to do it. So, or something like that. I know they wanted him to be involved, like at the first of it or something. But that movie is that's the first movie I ever saw Henry Fonda as a bad guy.
Yeah, wasn't that weird?
It's just weird, but he was so good at it with those blue eyes. Mm-hmm. And you're like, and I think what was perfectly about it was because people that grew up on him, they didn't see him that way. He was always the good guy, like Mr. He was always in like 12 Angry Men, or he was always the voice of reason most of the time in movies. And but there's some good. I don't know. I can go deep because my dad. I grew up watching. We were talking about tough people. You're talking about Peckinpah. See, I forgot I was going to say this 5 minutes ago, but like John Ford and John Huston and those guys, they don't get no tougher than those guys. They were like in World War II, whatever filmed. And Capra was over there, but they said John Ford. Hold on. Would taunt John Wayne for years after the war because he'd went and John Wayne got out of it.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, you'd know that. Like they were doing like some war movie. He's like, they asked him a question about something. They said, this is something I heard. John Ford said, well, you'd know that if you'd been in the Army.
Yeah. Yeah, that movie Spielberg made last year about kind of the story of his life. There's a scene in there where David Lynch, who just passed away, plays John Ford because when Spielberg was younger, he met John Ford.
Yeah.
And John Ford, he said it lasted about 3 minutes. John Ford was his idol, his hero. It's the reason why I wanted to make movies. And John Ford basically told him to get the F out of his office.
Yeah, he was just like individual.
Yeah, he was a gruff dude, man, just constantly. Those old guys too, John Wayne smoked 5 packs of cigarettes a day. A day.
Do you know that you heard the story about the Genghis Khan movie? Like 5 people that were in that movie died of cancer.
Yep.
And they think it was like some kind of asbestos that like may have been involved in the set or something. It's a weird story. But that actually Andorra, the woman that played Andorra on Bewitched was in that movie. I don't know why I know this stuff. It's just stuck in my head.
Agnes Moorehead.
Agnes Moorehead.
Yeah, Agnes Moorehead. That's it. She was in it.
She was
one of the last films.
She was the Superman's mother in the original radio show.
Oh, really?
Really?
The very first episode where they're sending the baby off of Krypton. She played the mother.
Didn't you? You played some of those on your channel, didn't you, Rob?
Yeah, that's the only reason I know that is I played that one.
No, that's
the only one I played.
I really enjoyed that. That was fun. I like listening to some of that old stuff, though. The Shadow, Orson Welles.
Yeah, the Green Hornet.
The Shadows, yeah.
I used to have some little cassette tapes of the Green Hornet show.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Tubi has the old 50s or 40s, the Black Hawk cereal. They got the Green Hornet, the older Green Hornet, the black and white.
Yeah,
Green
I was thinking about doing the Black Hawk cereal. I have to see if I can get it or not. But
and they have the Spy
'cause
Smasher.
now that I've done the last one in Captain America, I've done a DC and a Marvel one. So
Yeah.
I figure I should.
You'd be surprised at what's in the public domain. There's even like newer movies like it came out in the 70s and 80s that they just let lapse, and it's already like in the public domain that you wouldn't realize. Like
some of that stuff though, it's not in the public domain apparently all over the world.
Yeah.
Well, this is
because I got in trouble for one thing I tried doing where everything I could find said it's in public domain, no problem. Put it on YouTube. It's like it would come up and say, well, it's not in public domain.
I've had luck with my trailer breakdowns because we've paused it a lot and we talk over it. I think the fact that it's a trailer is more of a commercial.
Yeah, I don't think anybody cares about trailers.
Yeah, I think you can kind of get away with it as long as you're not watching the whole movie.
Yeah.
Get shut down.
Yeah, because you're basically advertising for free for them. So
yeah, even if it's an old movie. Yeah.
I mean, I honestly think you could probably just do a whole YouTube channel that was nothing but movie trailers. There probably are some.
I think there is.
Yeah.
That's actually do that.
Yeah.
I don't know if I mentioned.
When I think of things like those.
Yeah. But Rob, you know who the Horror Mike channel is. You know Horror Mike, right? Who he is? Yeah. He's always getting turned off there during his live streams because he goes through a lot of the older movies. Mm-hmm. Even some of if he shows clips, if he shows trailers, he's fine.
Right.
But if he shows,
they'll shut you down even though because they did that to me. They will shut you down even though you're playing something you're allowed to play.
Yeah.
It's a different algorithm that checks you when you're doing a live stream, apparently.
The one thing you have to check on a trailer, though, that I've been told is if they're playing a song in it, you better turn it down.
Yeah, it's usually the music that gets you in trouble.
When
I did live streams, I got shut down a couple times. Didn't know exactly what was going on at first. And you can't tell. I don't know that I'm shut down.
It just shuts down.
Right? Until this comments start showing up that, where'd you go or whatever.
Yeah. I remember on your birthday stream it did that. We got shut down twice because everybody was made those homemade videos for you.
Yeah.
And sent in and it was doing that. But
yeah. Well, it wasn't because of the homemade videos. It was because of the stuff I was playing. But I wasn't playing anything that I wasn't allowed to use. That's the thing. Is it shut me down anyway because it thought maybe I might be putting up something I'm not allowed to use. Because after it was all over, it put it all back. You went and watched the recording. The only reason some of it's not there is because I stopped. If I'd have kept playing that and just kept going, eventually it would have came back on, and then the recording would have been complete. But I stopped it because I knew that's why it was stopping the channel, and I thought I needed to take it out. And it turned out that I didn't. That it was, it's just a messed up system. But I mean, they tell you, don't use stuff that you don't own, and you won't have any problems. So
the claim
about it, but it's just like
Yeah.
I used to be real nervous about it, but then I realized the claim is different from a strike. So if you get a claim, it's just saying if you shut it down now, there won't be no further action.
Oh, I can. It's funny because I can, now that I'm monetized somewhat at 500 subscribers, it sends me links all the time. It's like, oh, these people are playing your content, right? And I go look, and it's not my content. It's the content that I played on my channel that I got from somebody else, or like when I was on Aaron's show and we would simultaneously stream, it will ask me now, is like, okay, it will say that these other channels, anybody that was simultaneously streaming at the same time, me, Dr. Silver Age, Aaron, Cup of Comics, it will show me all their videos saying these people are streaming your content.
Jeez.
And I can put a claim in if I wanted to, but I'm like, That's not, but it's all, it's all automatic. It sees the same content and it's like, well, this guy's monetized. They're not. So I guess it sends me a notification. I don't know. I mean, it's just weird because it's like now every week or so now I'll get notifications saying that people are using my content. Nobody's tried stealing my content yet. Dang, nobody likes my stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I've showed your. I think I showed some videos.
That anytime any other channel out there shows it, it's like this channel is using your content. 90% of their video is your content. And I look at it.
I haven't stolen your content, but I do. When I do like community shout outs, I did like a shout out for yours and I played some of your shorts, but that don't really count. I was just showing everybody what you do.
Yeah, I don't think they care about shorts.
Hey, anybody out there in the chat, if you want to join, Mike, Higgy, it doesn't matter. The link's on the top of the comments. So, we got boom.
It's easy.
Hey, Mike. What you know about copyright strikes?
Oh, you probably know a lot about it with those variety shows.
Yeah, baby, I know all about them. How y'all doing?
Good, man. I just decided to do an impromptu live stream.
All right.
If anybody jumps on, anybody can jump on. So yeah. How you doing, man?
Yeah, good, man. I was at the grocery store and I looked down and I was like, oh, get out of the way. I'm gonna get back on the live stream.
Heck yeah.
I had somebody tell me that I'm on YouTube too much and I'm going to get burned out. And I'm like, not if that's all you do. I mean, I just enjoy talking to people. I don't know if I'm going to get burned out on it, but
yeah.
I feel sometimes I feel like I get burned out a little bit. Especially like yesterday. I was really depressed yesterday, but at the same time, if I'm not doing it, it's like withdrawal. It's like you're going through withdrawal. Really,
I'll be like, some days I'll be like, I'm bored. I wish somebody would do a stream so I could jump on. I swear I do. Maybe I'll just start one. If nobody, I did that during the holidays. Like, I noticed nobody was doing any live streaming and hangouts like on Christmas Eve or like New Year's Eve. I said, I'm gonna do one. And you know what turned out? I had the most people ever show up on a live stream because they were wanting the same thing. They were like,
there wasn't anything else for them to watch.
Yeah.
Shoot, I'm always afraid if I go live, I'll just be sitting there talking to myself. So I just say, well,
I was at first.
That's what I was worried about. I'm like, man, I don't know. I was kind of freaked out at first. I'm like, well, what if nobody shows up? Then I'll feel like a dork. But then I'm like, you know what? Who cares?
That's the way I felt when I did my birthday party show. It's like, what if I throw a party and nobody shows up?
Yeah.
Oh no, Robert, you threw a rip snorting. Get down, hold down, brother. You did good.
Oh, have you seen my new giveaway I'm giving away? So when I get to 300, I'll show you my giveaway I'm doing. I'm going to be giving away these 5 books, and I'll probably add another one in. When I get to 300, I'm at 259. I just want to share it with you guys. So be sure that when I do it, y'all come on. You could win these. I know you don't like the modern stuff, but I mean, you can't go wrong with Black Canary. And,
so are they all going to the same person, or are they individual giveables? Or
they're all abundant. One lucky winner. Iggy.
Where'd he go?
Iggy,
where'd he go?
Here, I'll show it in a minute. Hey, Iggy. I was just showing what I'm giving away for my 300 subscribers, Iggy. So
nice, bro. Nice.
Black Canary #1. This Is the Way. Mandalorian #6.
Nice.
First appearance of Titan. Hulk #6.
Nice.
A little Alex Ross. And got a little Yoda cover there.
Nice.
And I'll probably throw in
Yoda.
another DC comic just so it's not all Marvel. So
That's awesome.
we got to represent the DC comics too, you know.
Right. It'd be a crime. Hey, Higgy, what's going on, dude?
Not much, Joe. How are you, pal?
Good, man.
You're talking some good. You guys were talking some good movies, man.
Oh yeah, that's right in my wheelhouse. You know,
Yeah.
I wasted a lot of my youth watching movies.
No, it's not a waste. I mean,
Hey.
Snake Plissken. I mean, he could come over and babysit my grandbaby if he wanted to. He's the best.
Well, your grandbaby would be in good hands because he would shoot anybody that tried to mess with him.
Absolutely. She'll probably try to pull his eye patch off, Matt.
Yeah.
I want
He'd look
that.
at him. He'd look at her and go. Look at him and go. Call me Snake.
Isn't that just
I
one
follow
of
the sleep room.
that end of that Escape from New York is so awesome when he puts the tape in the tape deck.
The American Bandstand song.
And then Snake Plissken just walks away and he's got a cigarette in his mouth and he's
just like
ripping the film out of the tape or whatever.
Yeah.
No, it's very nihilistic. Like John Carpenter, some of his movies have a very nihilistic ending to it. Like The Thing, they're just sitting there knowing they're going to die as soon as that fire goes down. For that,
Yeah. It's gloom and doom, but it's good stuff.
Yeah, I guess we'll just sit here and see what happens.
Yep.
Ernest Borgnine is I guess he's like a local legend down here in New Haven, Connecticut, because they have his picture up on a lot of the buildings around here. So I think he's like an old fixture.
Nice.
Is that where he's from?
I don't know. I think it is. That's why it's so in your face.
I will Google it.
They're pretty proud of him.
The one positive thing about smartphones is I can Google that. It's at my fingertips. So let's look it up.
Yeah, check it out.
I'm pretty sure you're right though. I thought I remember reading that somewhere that he was from the New England area.
Isn't it funny how, because Borgnine was always a bigger actor, you know? He lived until what? He was in his 90s when he passed away.
Yeah, he was. Yeah. I remember him doing he was doing old like interviews and stuff on like late night shows, and he was like a real old kind of pervert.
Yeah.
He was he married to Ethel Merman?
Oh wow!
Really?
I don't know.
He was born January 24th, 1917. Yesterday, 2 days ago was his birthday.
Wow.
Hamden, Connecticut.
There you go. Yep, that's right. That's butts up against New Haven.
Oh wow.
Did you say 1917?
Those were the days, Easy.
God dang.
And he was one of those guys. He was like everywhere. Like when he got older, he was on Saturday Night Live. He was showing
he would.
Live,
He seemed like he would just basically do anything that was offered to him, pretty much.
Yeah.
It was everywhere.
Well, you know what? You know, we always are lucky to live as long as him or Betty White did. You know, and they have the attitude that they had. Betty White was a sad day, even though it was her time. But people like that, just like I don't know, she just exuded happiness. I love Betty White. I think we all did. But okay, I digress. But we were talking about the movies and John Carpenter. You remember the movie? It scared the hell out of me when I was a kid. It was called The Prince of Darkness. John Carpenter. Freaked me out.
Was that John Carpenter? That was John Carpenter, right?
Yeah.
Matt?
Yeah.
Is that that had what's his name from Simon and Simon, right? The blonde-haired guy from that.
Yeah.
That is a creepy movie, man. When one
of the greatest shows of all time was Simon and Simon, by the way.
Yeah.
I wanted to use that on my theme song, but I was like, nah, I better not. I'll probably get in trouble for that real quick. So.
Hey Matt, I'm working on your character, the Moonshiner.
Oh, that's awesome! I'm glad somebody will work with it.
Yeah, we gotta sit down and talk because I'm an old coon hunter back in the day myself. I had a bunch of blue ticks. We could get a nice origin story going, man.
I'm telling you, we'll have to start the Kickstarter and
we'll have a benefit.
You do something.
Dr. Silver Age.
Hey Doc, how you doing?
Rod.
Plenty of room if you want to hop on, Rod.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Links on the
Oh.
top.
Hey, Higgy, this is a long time in the future, but because I got my interview show is booked till like April the 1st.
Wow.
But if you could come on and sometime in April, I would appreciate it.
No problem, man.
All right.
It'll be cool. Definitely. I'm in my right now.
And I got
Matthew,
Easy already scheduled. I already got Easy
Matt-
scheduled.
I was gonna say, Matthew, if you want to cut me, I'm your ratings dropper, brother. If I get on there, if you want to cut
No,
me,
you're not. No, you're not.
every
Kidding me?
I'm not cutting you.
We want a deep dive. We want a deep dive on Easy. Oh yeah.
Oh, man.
I want to know more about how he came up with this variety show because it's very cool.
All right.
I mean, I comment a lot on videos, guys, but just because you don't see my comments doesn't mean I don't watch them. I'm kind of a lurker. You know what I mean?
You'll get a room tour later today. Not right now.
Cool.
No variety show today. Just a room tour. Sort of.
Here, I'll give you a quick one real quick.
We
there you
broke.
No.
I turned my camera
Where'd it
off. I got to shorten this camera, I think.
It's okay. You
All
turned into a dot. Easy likes dots.
Man, that's next week. I got proof. I got proof about Little Dot now.
Little Dot.
Oh, dude, she is.
Hey,
She's
hey,
out there.
easy. I'm restoring an antique right now. I'm in my mom's basement, and I got this old cabinet that I'm sanding down.
There you go.
I got all the hardware off. Antiquing, baby.
Yeah.
Putting a little finish on it, and I'm doing a little bit of huffing. So, guys, I don't know.
Yeah. My next project, my wife wants me to make doggy beds. So I got to make some doggy beds.
You know what I got to
One for
do?
Little Agnes, one for Dolly June.
You know what you're going to have to do, too, when they start getting older? I got to make a little staircase so they can get on the bed.
Yep.
Don't
That's
worry, Iggy.
making
I
it
got
lower
full
for
control
Dolly.
on speed dial in case something happens and you inhale too many fumes.
There you go.
No, good job. Nice work on that, brother.
Yeah, it's coming along.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I was thinking about Kurt Russell because you guys were talking about him, and if I'm not mistaken, he's the most successful child actor. I can't think of another child actor who grew up to be as successful as an actor as he was.
He started very young and kept it going.
Yeah.
Maybe Jodie Foster, but she's the only one I
Jodie
can think of.
Foster. Yeah.
That's the only two I can think of, actually.
Yeah, Jodie Foster too. That's true.
Yeah, but Kurt
now,
Russell's working to this day.
We're going to talk about newer actors, though, or younger. Like, she's not that. She's still younger than Scarlett Johansson's been going for a while. But, yeah, as far as Kurt Russell, I think he's probably the tops because
I mean, most kid actors, they always make a big deal of how they're, they end up killing themselves or going off the deep end or whatever.
And there's I like the story of Kurt Russell was a young kid. He was in I forget which show, what movie it was, but Charles Bronson was on the set with him, and Kurt Russell was like 8 years old, and he gave Charles Bronson a present. It was Charles Bronson's birthday or something.
Oh,
And
yeah.
remember the story? And Charles Bronson never received a gift before. So Kurt Russell, like an innocent little kid, gives him a present, and Charles Bronson takes it, and he just turns around and walks out. And Kurt Russell was, shattered. But then I guess Charles Bronson approached him later on. I was like, I never received a gift, and he was very emotional. But Kurt Russell at a young age worked with such big names.
Yeah.
And his dad, Bean, was in Bonanza. He grew up in it, and then he, but yeah, I think, Bronson probably was like one of those old school guys. He didn't want somebody to see him emotional, so he turned around and walked away, probably. That's what I assume.
You should have punched him out.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
The only other one I could think of to add to that is Ron Howard. He didn't quite.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ronnie Howard.
But he went off. Yeah, he stopped acting. He went into directing and stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Maybe that's why he's still in it.
yeah.
I think it has a lot to do with like there's certain point in their age when they get away from what they're like, when they're getting older, like Kurt Russell turns 18
Mhm.
and he's still doing some stuff. But then he gets involved with John Carpenter, And I think it's just how if you're smart enough to get through it.
Yeah.
And Kurt Russell never really had a drug problem. You never heard of him having a drug problem.
Yeah, and I don't think he ever really stopped acting.
Yeah, he never did.
He never really took that break and stepped away from it like a lot of them do.
And another key to the whole story was, if you think about it, is that they had stable parents. Like Jodie Foster's mother was very protective of her, and she kept a level head. And then she went to college for a while and didn't even do any movies for a while. And then Kurt Russell played baseball for a while with his dad being, if you've seen that documentary, The Battered Bastards of Baseball, you've seen that? His dad owned a team in Oregon, a minor league team. And and his dad, he was a baseball player. He played baseball in college, I think Kurt Russell did.
Yep.
But like those guys, like he had a solid dad. It was like, if you don't want to do this, you don't have to do it. He didn't. With these, I think the ones you find,
right? Yeah, that would make a big difference too.
These kids that have parents like Corey Feldman's that were like, you got to get out there, or like Will Wheaton talks about, you have to. You're the primary breadwinner for this family, so get out there and find another job.
Right?
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yep. Man, that'd be rough. Ooh.
Like,
then you got to deal with all the perverts,
Yeah.
So.
And Will Wheaton, he was miserable. He said, like when he was doing Star Trek Next Generation, he just do it because, oh, you're a breadwinner now, and that's kind of an odd. And I think it's kind of like an odd
child
dynamic when the child is the breadwinner of a family. I mean,
yeah.
Now, Jeff Bridges, I don't know if he was actually a childhood actor. I don't know how young he started, but he's had a solid career all through the 70s, 80s, 90s. I mean, he has a good, solid career. Remember that movie he was in, Matt? He was it was called Thunderbolt and Lightfoot or something like that. What was it?
Yeah.
That was a good one.
They get that big
right?
cannon to open up the safe with. Remember they stole like that gun.
Yeah, that was good. That was a good movie.
It was a good movie.
Also,
he was in
the
a
Last Picture Show.
Last Picture Show. Yep. That was
Ben
a good
Johnson
one.
too. Ben Johnson got an Oscar for that, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know, but
and Cloris Leachman won for that movie too.
Yeah.
And
then of course he was in King Kong. I love the 70s King Kong.
That King Kong was great. Yeah.
And Sybil Shepherd, that was her first movie. That was
was
Shepard's
it?
first movie. Yeah.
You know who was another childhood actor, but he started in TV shows, was Jason Bateman.
Yep.
And he's still working a lot today.
Yeah.
Good one, yeah. Well, he came out, Silver Spoons is probably the early, or no?
It was another show he was on that was popular too. I can't remember.
Ricky Schroeder was in Silver Spoons with
Ricky Schroeder. I think he was
Carlton was in it too.
And you know who the actor was that played Ricky Schroeder's father? Joel Higgins. Oh.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that was his name.
No relation, easy. No relation.
Yeah, but that show always you glued because we weren't paying attention to the story, just seeing all the stuff he had in his house. Man, that's what I would always. The video games, the toys.
Yeah, he had all the good stuff.
Yeah, it was like watching Richie Rich.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Picture, this is the tombstone of Jim Morrison.
Oh, wow.
With my aunt posing behind it.
Oh, that's your aunt?
Yeah.
Oh.
Just found it. You know how you're digging through stuff. My mom found some old photographs. So her and mom went over there, and I said, well, take a picture of Jim Morrison's grave. And she came back and said, we got lost going to that grave. I hope you know. But here's your picture.
It was worth it.
Yeah.
Getting lost in a graveyard.
Pierre Lachaise Cemetery.
Hey, easy. You got a show coming out today, pal?
Now I'm gonna do just a quick kind of room tour.
Those are my
and
faves.
then it'll be a show next week. Yeah.
So awesome.
I got a show at 6:00.
6:00. All right.
If anybody wants to, we just do the previews for the new comics and the trending comic list from Key Collector, and then we got a new segment called Out of Context Panels of the Week, where we show you a panel that couldn't be taken out of context, that maybe it didn't age well. But you'll see a lot of them are Wonder Woman and Archie comics.
I can see that.
Yeah.
You'll find a ton in Archie.
Yeah.
Bunch of them.
And I picked some good ones this week. Actually, Superman had a pretty. Last week we had a pretty rough one from Superman. I don't know if anybody watched that, but it was.
Yeah, there's some awkward Superman covers out there.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I just wanted to say hi, man. I'm going to take off. I just want to say hi to my friends here.
Right.
Thanks, Higgy.
Alrighty. See you later.
Have a good one.
Later, brother.
Cool. Yeah. Okay, what were you guys? Sorry, I had to take off for a second.
That's cool, man. Shoot.
It happens to all of us, especially me.
So see, I could sit here and talk about movies for hours. You know, I love movies. Love them. Love them. They're fun. They make me smile. They make me cry. They make me smile.
They make me go to sleep.
Yeah. Okay. Here's one. Okay. I like watching. I'll watch anything, any movies. I'll watch them. I've watched every form of movie. Okay. But as I get older, there's one production movie company, and there's certain movies I cannot watch. Pixar, and I don't know if I've talked about this or not, and I've said this before. Pixar, that company can die from gonorrhea and rot in hell. because I cry whenever I watch a Pixar movie.
You just need to let it go.
But doesn't that mean it's a good movie?
Like, okay, at the end of Monsters Inc., when she's like, Kitty, I'm bawling. You guys, I am a sobbing mess of just.
What about the movie Up? I was like, I had to stop watching Up because it made me bawl.
Yeah.
Up took me so by surprise that there was such a great movie because it looks so stupid. But the writing on that movie is fantastic. It was just like, oh my God, this is so good.
Yeah.
Even with the talking dog and the whole ostrich thing and everything, by then you're just so emotionally involved in it. You're just like, this is such a fantastic movie. Now, who the hell thought they would ever even be able to get away with making a movie about an old man?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. You're talking about Up, right?
Like traumatizing children, okay? They've been good at that since the 30s.
Yeah.
Okay, like Bambi,
but
Fox and the Hound, Old Yeller.
We talked about this because you just brought up Fox and the Hound.
Yeah.
Matt, you suck, because that movie makes me cry all the time. And now I'm going to start crying because I'm thinking about the end of that movie. That's mean.
I was unconsolable. My mom was like, "What's wrong with you?" I was like, "They can't be friends anymore."
Yeah, that big ass bear jump when that big bear comes out, at the
I'm
end.
Cry right now.
And it's like the Hound comes in there to save Kurt Russell. Kurt Russell, wasn't he the voice of the Fox?
The Fox, yeah, Todd, I believe.
Todd,
yeah.
Man, shut up, Kurt Russell. Now I don't like him anymore either.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah, I guess I missed all these childhood. I watched that one, but I watched that in my adult years.
Yeah,
because I guess I missed all these because my uncles controlled everything. And I had a conversation with Robert the other day. They were always ahead, so I jumped ahead. Whatever they were watching as teenagers, I was watching as a kid, and so I missed all that stuff. And of course, we didn't have the cable and all that, but it was later on, like I watched The Black Hole, and probably in my 30s.
Yeah.
Going
I don't
back
think
and
I've
trying
watched until maybe 1990s. I don't think I ever watched a Disney movie when it came out.
Oh, okay.
I saw them on TV. I saw them,
Yeah.
years later. I would see them.
Well, we were when I was a kid. I was
Fox and the Hound had been out for years and years before.
We had one of those big satellite dishes, the ones you turn by hand, remote, and we would get we'd VHS. I had all these on VHS, like Black Hole.
Yeah,
and,
back
Star
when the Disney
Wars.
Channel was good.
Yeah, and
Not the crap it is now.
Yeah, it's there's some things, but most of it's not great now. And well, you know what it is? They focused all their energy on Disney Plus, so they don't really have any quality programming on their cable. Cable's a dying. I think cable's a dying thing. I don't think it's
definitely.
Like cable news, like some of these places like CNN and Fox News are struggling to get people to watch.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they're probably. I mean, I've already heard rumors that some of them are on their last leg. So I don't know if that's true, but
YouTube is my cable.
They have to go.
Yeah.
I mean, cable will become the replacement for like the networks, right? Where they have advertising, and that's how because they can't make it without advertising.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to pay to do that anymore.
I'm surprised radio's held on this long.
Well, it's like I haven't paid for cable in years because I got Paramount Plus, I got Peacock. It's cheaper because cable up here with internet's close to over $200 a month. If you just get the internet, it's like $50.
Yeah,
and then you pay.
They raised ours to $90.
And the thing is, like all these big, and this is true of any big company, right? Because you think it's like, okay, well, I'm not paying that because it costs too much, right? You think eventually these companies will have to lower their price because nobody's going to pay that, right? But whoever's in charge doesn't think that way. They're like, oh, well, we didn't make enough money, so we don't have as many subscribers, so we have to charge the subscribers we have more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So the price always goes up until the company folds. It never goes back down to a reasonable amount.
Well, you have the same thing with that. They always have some excuse to raise the price of something.
Yeah. I mean, it's true of any company. It's grocery stores or whatever it is. It's like the price of eggs. It's like, okay, I stopped buying eggs. I'm not paying that much for a dozen eggs, right?
Yeah.
But it's rare for the prices to come back down.
I think the best thing. What we got here? Oh, Kevin. What's up, Kevin?
Hey, Kev.
Hey, Kevin.
Rod, it does.
Hey, man, y'all need to play Kevin's quiz show when it comes out.
What did he say?
I don't know. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
The price will always come down eventually, but only when it gets replaced by something way better.
Yeah.
And then when everybody goes it, they'll raise the price of it.
And then it disappears and gets absorbed into what's new, which is what you were talking about with broadcast becoming cable.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like our cable. We canceled our cable years ago. We've got YouTube TV, which is much cheaper and has everything we want.
Yeah.
Except for some reason, the freaking History Channel and that group of.
It's on Hulu. That's why I think.
But now our former cable company is our internet provider because cable internet, it's the best thing we can get by far and away.
The thing about it is when your internet goes out, you have no TV.
Well, they just raised the freaking internet, which now makes it kind of almost as much as when we had cable.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I got lucky.
I'll tell you guys, the best thing I did was get YouTube Premium. No commercials.
Yeah, I
watched all
years. Glorious. Once I started making videos, I had to get that. I was watching everybody else's videos, and it was driving me nuts.
Yeah.
It's funny to think when back during radio and early TV and stuff, companies owned programs, right?
Yeah.
They would make the entire program. There would be one sponsor. There wouldn't be all these multiple sponsors and everything. It's funny to think of that now and then think of how it works now with these huge corporations that could probably easily afford to do a show themselves and just have product placement or whatever in it. And but they don't do that.
They don't take the risk. They'd
They
rather
don't.
Didn't they have the craft
Really?
theater or something back
They
in the
did.
50s? They had, it's called like the craft theater.
Yeah, well, even shows like the Dick Van Dyke Show and stuff, you know, they'd have like a cigarette company or sponsor them because you can find those little bits where the actors are actually advertising the product. They had little promos. Andy
See, you know
Griffith
what?
Show and Barney Fife, you can find little things of them eating like
Beverly
grape
Hillbillies.
you know.
Last night, my son and I were watching the end of SNL, and there was a T-Mobile commercial, and it had the actors that were on SNL in it. I was like, that's interesting. That's good. You know, I mean, they used to do that before, but
I'll
totally
tell you
different.
something. I got a conspiracy theory. I've been watching that Billy Bob Thornton show, Landman.
Oh yeah,
And,
I want to watch that.
I think they're paid by the old company. I think an old company's producing that show.
It's probably paid for.
Because like the whole thing, he's like, well, are they going to have more windmills? Let me tell you something about these windmills. You know, it takes oil to make these windmills. They got all these windmills to keep them lubricated. And like every 30, 20 minutes, there's somebody telling you why electric cars are shit, windmill and solar suck. And then every time he gets a beer, he's like, I don't drink anymore, but give me one of them Michelob Ultras. And he's always asking for Michelob Ultra specifically.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I think
he's definitely getting
this movie.
Right, for sure.
That's a good show.
What I was
It's a good show, though. No, it's a good show. I'm just saying. I'm pretty sure ExxonMobil is paying them.
I want to see the one with Stallone. What is that called?
Tulsa.
Tulsa. Yeah,
Tulsa. That's pretty good.
I've heard that's pretty good. I'd like to see that.
I hear Linus is really good.
The what? Which one?
Saldana. She's like called Linus, the Linus or something.
Oh yeah,
Zoe Saldana.
That's on Paramount Plus, I think. Yeah, that's. Yeah, they got that. I don't know if you guys watched that 1923, the Yellowstone, the one that had Helen Mirren and Harrison Ford in it.
Yeah, I watched it.
They're filming season 2 episodes in Montana where they filmed the first ones. And I'm like sitting there thinking, you know what? I'm not doing anything. So I'm going to try. So tomorrow I'm going to send my headshot and resume to a couple of the agencies in Montana. You never know.
Cool.
I could be acting alongside Harrison Ford.
All right.
That'd be cool.
But yeah, that's kind of cool how they do that now. I mean, they want so much reality or realism in their shows, and Montana's just beautiful. I don't know if you guys have ever been up there, but that whole state is just awesome.
Yeah, I've been there once.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Beautiful.
Tobacco companies are always making money off of everything.
Yeah, now that they don't have they have to follow the broadcast rule of no cigarettes and alcohol on TV.
Yeah,
they can go back to paying for TV shows and sticking cigarettes all in them.
Yeah. It's like that one scene. That one scene in that Landman movie with Billy Bob we were talking about. There's some explosion and he's sitting in the back of his truck and his hand's all messed up. And the guy comes up to him, "What do you need? What do you need?" He's like, "Well, I need a cigarette. I need a Dr. Pepper." He said, "Dr. Pepper, there's a cooler in the back of my pickup, so grab me the Dr. Pepper." So he's just sitting there, fire everywhere, drinking a Dr. Pepper, smoking a cigarette. I'm like, yeah.
Yep. Well, what you gonna do?
Yeah.
You remember the old? I've seen watch the old. You'll see the most cigarette commercials on YouTube. They were like Chesterfield. 9 out of 10 doctors recommend Chesterfield.
Yeah, right.
What the hell?
Or Fred Flintstone lighting up.
Yeah, the Winston cigarettes. Hey, Bond, you want to smoke a Winston cigarette? That's smooth.
My favorite was always Granny and Jethro. What was the girl's name? Getting her to smoke. And then Granny agreeing with them, puffing away.
Annie Mae or whatever, yeah.
Yeah.
One of my favorite smoking, my favorite was in the, if you guys remember, there's a scene in The Exorcist where it's when the girl starts freaking out, kind of, so they take her to the doctor. So the Ellen Burstyn, the mom, is standing outside, and the doctor comes up to her, and they're like in the hospital, right? And she's like, "What's wrong with my daughter?" And he's like, pulls out a cigarette. Well, and they're like right in the hospital there with like patients and everything, and I'm like, man, the good old days. No,
Yeah.
There was a cool line. Was it the Rum Diaries with Johnny Depp, based on the Hunter?
I saw that one.
Where he's reporter and he's in the freaking newsroom and it's just smoky as everybody's smoking, and the editor comes through. I swear to God, they're gonna find out this shit's gonna kill y'all one day.
Totally.
Well, when I started working in the grocery store at 16, one of my jobs was clean out all the cigarette butts bins at the end of each aisle. Fill them with kitty litter
inside the store.
Everybody was smoking the store.
Yeah, there you go. Camcorder said you just be like, you'll be sitting in Wyoming in the 1800s. You'll be reading Geiger. Be like,
yeah. Yep. That's funny. Yeah, that would be funny, actually. Sneak one onto the set. You know, if they get like an extra part, there's like a cafe or something.
They'll miss it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that'd be kind of
to Harrison Ford and Helen Mirren.
Yeah. I don't know.
Harrison
Helen
Ford
Mirren for an older lady is I don't know. I don't know. Don't judge me, but she's
I agree. I agree.
Don't judge me.
She did a movie in the 80s with Bob Hoskins where he was a gangster in London. I can't remember the name of it, but it's a really good movie. I can't remember the name of it though. And
Mona Lisa.
Helen Mirren in Excalibur is drop dead gorgeous. I'll just say that. I don't know if anybody's seen Excalibur, but I highly recommend it.
Do you know she was dating Liam Neeson?
Yeah.
At the time?
Yeah, and there's a young Patrick Stewart in it, but Patrick Stewart's been bald since he was in his 20s, so he looks older.
Yeah,
makes him look a bit older.
He's always been bald. Just a bald dude.
Kind of genetic thing, I think. It made his.
Well, when I was in taking theater classes and stuff, acting classes, we had to watch these old Shakespeare videos. John Barton, he's a teacher over in the Stratford upon Avon, where they do the theater Shakespeare.
Yeah.
And all the actors, and this was from the late 70s, the 80s, but all these actors that were on there, like you had Ian McKellen, you had Patrick Stewart, you had Ian Holm, you had Judi Dench, Helen Mirren, the one actor that played Hercule Poirot or whatever, and he's got the mustache, shorter guy, black hair.
Poirot, yeah.
And but you watch all those, and you're just like, where their careers went from when they were just these students, just doing nothing really, Now they're just old and rich, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. All considered some of the best.
No,
Y'all have staged with the two guys from Good Omens, Dave Tennant and whatever the other guy's name is. He's a big stage.
Which one?
Staged. It was during the 2020 when they couldn't leave, and the whole show was a Zoom conversation between the two of them who were planning to do a stage work and the director of the show they were going to be doing, the stage, whatever it is, theater that they were working on together. And there's only like 6 episodes, but it's all back and forth. And at one of them, the one guy is going to quit, and they bring in Sam Jackson to replace him, and he gets on the Zoom call with them, and Every other thing he says is fucking this. Yeah, I'm fucking ready to do it, man. Let's do this play. You know? And they're doing serious theater, and it's like this ain't. But then Judi Dench comes on the last episode and tells him, "You've got a job. Do your fucking job."
That was what, David Tennant and somebody else. I can't remember the other guy.
The guy from Good Omens. I can't freaking think of his name.
Yeah. He was in the Underworld movies and
yeah,
Nixon and
played,
Frost.
Truman. No, he didn't. He played shit. Who was it? All right, computer right.
Not Kennedy. Oh, I can't remember that one. I am sworn to the quest. I love that movie too, Excalibur. That was a good one.
Michael Sheen.
Michael Sheen.
Yeah.
That's right. Those old British dudes. But anyway, yeah.
Frost Nixon. He played Frost in Frost Nixon.
Yeah. Frank Langella played Nixon in that one.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, Pixar can kiss my ass. I hate Pixar.
I don't know. I like Toy.
Yeah, they make me cry too.
The Toy Story, the one where they're in the furnace holding hands. Oh my God.
Yeah. No,
I thought that was a little intense for kids, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Like, it was intense for me.
Yeah, I haven't watched that movie. I refuse to. I haven't watched a Toy Story movie after the only one I've seen the first one and halfway through the second one, because as soon as that little cowgirl started singing that song about when somebody loved me, I was done. I was done. Done. I think I put in like one of the most violent movies I could find. I just took I stopped watching it, and I'm like, I'm gonna watch this freaking horrible H.P. Lovecraft movies where people get their insides ripped out and there's cannibals and I don't know, dogs. Terrible things happen to dogs. I'm never watching Pixar again. Yeah.
Well, fellas, I got to get going. I just want to say hello to everybody. And yeah, man, it's fun.
Hey, thanks for stopping by, man.
Yeah, brother. We'll see y'all. Okay.
Hey, Mike, thank you.
Nice show last night, Kevin. I really enjoyed that quiz show.
That was fun, wasn't it?
Good stuff,
I
brother.
hope to have it ready to go tomorrow night at 9:00.
All right, man. I'll be there. Y'all take care.
Yeah, you too. Thanks, Mike.
Bye.
Bye. So what's the last Pixar movie that you saw?
The last Pixar movie?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna take some shit back here. I watched the Incredibles.
Okay.
That's Pixar, right?
That one didn't make you cry, did it?
No, that was okay. I was just thinking about that. I'm like, which one didn't make it?
A lot of people like the Incredibles. I was actually disappointed in it, but
really,
because I felt like it was just a ripoff of the Fantastic Four.
I like Megamind. I like Megamind.
Megamind was good.
Yeah.
And Meet the Robinsons.
Oh, dude, my kid watched that and just was so sad. Yeah, it's the same guy. I'm like, dude, I don't care. It's Pixar. Shut up.
What was the last one? I guess Toy
Story. I'm crying.
4.
I don't care. Grow up.
It's all right.
Yeah,
man.
no, the
the end scene, the Field of Dreams, makes me cry. When he's like, "Dad, you want to?"
Yeah, that too.
Whatever, dude. I cried watching Friends. Give me a break.
Yeah.
Oh, if you're not human, you didn't cry.
I get so emotional now whenever I watch anything. I just cry.
The last episode of Friends is emotional. I got really depressed.
Ratatouille was great, man. That's one of my favorites.
Ratatouille was a lot of fun. Yeah, that's another one of those. It's like Up, where it's like you go in expecting it to just be. It's just going to be a kids movie,
that was great.
And it's just like, oh my god, this is good.
Yeah. Oh, there's
they got a Ratatouille ride at Epcot.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, now where you're in a giant mouse car, and it's a lot of screens. It's a lot of like 3D type screens and stuff. But the chef chases you with a big knife and stuff, and it's a fun little ride. It's nothing major, but it's fun. That was the last new ride I think I've gone on. So
East of the Rockies. Little Art Bell action. I really want to go down there to see the Black Squire, the Star Wars, the new Star Wars land they got down there.
Oh, it's okay. I'm Disney sucks. That's what I'll say. Yeah, when that came out, I went and I got annual passes. I hadn't had annual passes for years because we got it free when I worked there, right? But I wasn't working there anymore, and I got annual passes for me and my mom because they always, whenever they have something new, it's always annual pass holder previews. You can get in early and ride when other people can't and stuff, right? While it's still being run by Imagineering before they hand it off to the park's operational team who destroys everything. So, and they didn't do it. They did not do the annual pass holder previews. They didn't do preview. They did cast previews. They didn't do annual pass holder previews. And then when they did finally open it, you had to have reservations. And in order to get a reservation, you had to be there at like 6 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. And I was just like, I never went. I spent like hundreds of dollars, almost probably over $1,000 for our 2 annual passes. And I never got on the rides. I mean, we walked around the land. It's cool. It's empty. There's a lot they didn't do. Where the budget got cut, they didn't put in. There's like a place where there's supposed to be like show going on where the characters have a lightsaber battle or something on the rock work, and they didn't do it. So you have these big empty. It's a very empty land. There's a lot of room for expansion. And this is the one in Florida. I can't speak about the one in California. I don't know, but and I mean, what's there is great. It looks cool. And everything's themed. The one thing that was really weird was the shopping area is they wanted it to look like it's like a marketplace on another planet, right? So you have all these little booths that are shops rather than having a shop. And you got all these gazillion people trying to cram in these little friggin' booths. There's just like no friggin' way. Right? Yeah. So anyway, you had to have reservations for the ride. So I never got on either one of the rides. I've been there multiple times, never been on either ride because during that year, the entire year, you had to be there at 6 a.m. if you wanted to even have a shot at it. Now now it's probably not a problem. But back then, over the first year, you had to be there in the morning to get a reservation because it would fill up immediately. And then it broke down so often that it would get backed up and stuff anyway, and so on and so forth. The main ride's supposed to be really, really, really incredible.
Yeah, with
you can watch it on YouTube and stuff, but
I've watched that. It looks really awesome with they got like life-size freaking AT-ATs and stuff like that you gotta that's cool.
And
I think they are expanding it because I know in Florida they're building the Indiana Jones ride down there now. So they're adding some new.
That's going to be in Animal Kingdom. That's a different park, but
it is.
They shut down the hotel they had. It was a big giant disaster, I reckon. The Star Wars hotel.
They were charging way too much for it.
Yeah.
I mean, you could go to Tokyo Disneyland for a week and spend less money than it costs for 3 days at that hotel.
Yeah. And talk about the Avatar though. That's a hot take, maybe, but I didn't. I mean, I can see why people like it, but to me, it's called a throwaway movie. It's something I'll watch once and can't watch it again. It's just my opinion.
Yeah, I couldn't watch the new ones. I watched the original and was like, okay, it's a pretty movie. It's okay. Why they wanted to build an entire land out of it down here, I had just because it grossed so much money, I guess. Because it was the #1 movie. But the ride is really cool because they have a ride. They have one ride that's really lame, and they have one ride that's really awesome.
Isn't there one of the rides? Aren't you like on one of the riding on one of the?
And it is freaking cool. If you've ever been on Soarin' at one of the Disney parks, if anybody's been on that, it uses that kind of ride system where you just have this huge screen, the windows open up, and it's 3D. You're wearing the glasses or whatever, but you're riding on the monster, the dragon, banshee, whatever the heck they're called. And I mean, it's incredible. It doesn't last very long, but the seat breeze, so it feels like you're on a living creature. Just a lot of weird stuff, and it's a really great ride. They did a really good job on that. The other ride is just a boat ride, and it's really lame. You can wait for hours, and it's just like, wow, I'd rather do It's a Small World again.
I still remember that. I haven't been since the 80s, but I remember A Small World. And that's enough of that song.
You can see the documentary about Industrial Light and Magic.
Yeah.
Then library. It's like a documentary series, and they go into ILM in the early days, and they go all the way up through their work with other movies in the 80s, and it's almost becoming a lost art. The practical effects like this, where they do the miniatures.
Yeah,
and
but that was Lucas's company, so how much was he involved in that? I'm sure he okayed everything to do with those original movies. So
yeah, but, he didn't have anything to do on day-to-day hands-on with that though. He let what was that guy's name, Dykstra?
Right. John Dykstra.
He had ultimate approval if they didn't like what they did.
Right.
But the matte paintings and stuff, that's like a lost art almost now.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Everything's.
See, I cannot stand James Cameron. I really can't. Terminator was awesome. Aliens was awesome. But then when he slowly starts, he never gives any credit. George Lucas, so James Cameron goes to Lucas and says, hey, I'm trying to make this 3D movie, with this, other world and blah, 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 but I don't have and George Lucas is like, oh, well, we've been working on a 3D camera. You can just use that one, and whatever you can pull out of it, whatever. Well, then never once did James Cameron say, hey, I'd like to thank George Lucas for letting me use some of this technology that they had at ILM or whatever. And I'd like to thank him because we wouldn't have Avatar unless, thanks, George Lucas. He never did that. Never once, I just think, because it's true in Hollywood, everybody steals from everybody. There's not really an original thought. There hasn't been an original thought or movie in Hollywood in, 30 years, whatever, 20 years maybe.
Well, it seems like the further you go back,
credit where credit is
due. Think was original. It's, someday you're like, oh, they got that from that. They got this from that. Yep. It seems like
it just slowly progressed into everything. Slowly, progressed into something.
Yeah.
But so.
Well,
I don't know.
Also, Catherine Bigelow deserves some credit for some of those early movies. She helped him a lot.
Oh yeah,
they got divorced.
Big time. Yeah, she won an Oscar for something, didn't she?
Zero Dark 30.
Oh, Hurt Locker
too.
Hurt Locker.
She was nominated for Zero Dark 30, but yes, Hurt Locker was the one she won. That's right. I was thinking I had them mixed up.
That was a good movie.
Heck yeah. Hurt Locker is really good.
I like my favorite Catherine Bigelow movie is going to make everybody laugh, but it's Point Break.
Yeah.
That's a good movie, dude.
Patrick Swayze is awesome in that movie.
He really was in that movie. That's it. You know, people always say Roadhouse or something else.
No.
Nah,
Point Break.
Point Break. Point Break is my favorite Swayze movie. Roadhouse is okay.
It's got a cool soundtrack too.
Both of them are right up there for me. That'd be my favorite too. From him.
Point Break. He did all of his own stunts in that movie too.
Yeah.
I don't know if Keanu did. Yeah, he probably talked Keanu into doing his own too. But
Come on, you wuss.
Right.
Didn't they remake that movie?
They did.
It was terrible.
Who was in that?
I don't even remember. I heard it was terrible, which I had no doubt. Donnie Darko was good. I always forget about that.
Yeah. Yeah, he was wasn't he he was some kind of giving a seminar or something like that.
He was a motivational speaker. He was like what's his name? I can't remember. The guy with the big teeth. I can't remember his name.
Tony
Robbins. That's who he kind of reminded me of in that movie. It's a good movie.
Donnie Darko was, I don't know, I don't want to say it was ahead of its time, but it was up there with the kind of weirdness, you know?
Yeah, Anthony Kiedis is in it. He gets shot, shoots himself in the foot. He's one of the Nazi surfer dudes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Gary,
I gotta go get some supper. So.
All right.
You gonna be on the? You coming on the show later?
Yeah, 6, right?
Yeah. I'll send you a link.
That's why I need to go get supper now.
Right. Yeah, I gotta go here in a minute too.
All right.
Get myself
Well,
psyched up.
for having me on, Joe.
Yeah,
fun.
Thanks, Kevin. Anytime, man.
I always
Talk to you
love
later.
talking movies, comics, and all that shit.
You too.
Later, guys.
Later.
Kevin.
Yeah, I always have to psych myself up some days. Like when you're getting ready to do a live show, I'm like, I don't know if I want to do this today. All right. Let's go.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Kevin.
I feel like that sometimes too, where it's just like I don't feel like doing it, but then once you start doing it, you feel better.
Yeah, I was on the interview show, but after about 10 minutes of talking to somebody, I just get in the zone. I have to do 2 interviews this week because Seven Cox Bueller last Wednesday, and where he kind of travels in his van all over the United States, you know.
Right.
And so he was in a place where like he had decent Wi-Fi, and then like 50 different vehicles show up in the park he's at and start mooching off the Wi-Fi, and then he can't. He couldn't even.
Yeah,
hear
they're
me.
all on the same Wi-Fi. That makes sense.
And like he said, I said, all right, we'll just do it. I just turned it into an impromptu hangout stream. And were you on there? I think you were on there that night. I'm not sure. And anyway, so I said we'll do it. I got him Tuesday, but I didn't want to. My other guest, I had to push him back a few days, but I didn't want to wait because I already have other people for the other weeks. And I said, "Will you be all right with Friday?" So I got to do 2 episodes next week. So this will be interesting.
Cool.
All right.
And,
Rod asked us a question. What are our top 3 favorite movies?
God,
I'll go first. Ready?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Jaws.
It is. No, wait. These are my top 3 favorite movies of all time. All time. Raiders of the Lost Ark is number 1. It's just my favorite movie of all time.
Yeah.
Number 2, Empire Strikes Back. Second favorite movie of all time. Just boom. 3 is Jaws, because you have to, Jaws is just Jaws. But the weird thing about that is that they're all, from my childhood. But those are my 3 favorite. So it's Raiders, Empire, Jaws. Love
the ones Dr. Silvage had: Monty Python, The Holy Grail, Tombstone, and Outlaw Josie Wells.
Those are great movies.
Whooped them again, Josie. God, I have so many to choose from. I can't pick, but I'll have to go with probably Raiders of the Lost Ark for sure. Pulp Fiction, and Pulp Fiction I can watch all the time. I don't know what it is about that movie. And this next one's gonna be kind of a weird one. I don't know. It's just a struggle for me. Apocalypse Now.
Oh yeah.
Just you got Marlon Brando and Martin Sheen going around acting like a bunch of madmen with a coked up Dennis Hopper.
Yeah.
and a great memorable, even though it was a small part by Robert Duvall, that movie is probably one of the most memorable parts.
Oh yeah,
in the entire film.
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
Yeah. So one time we dropped a hell bomb. That smell, the gasoline smell, smelled like victory.
Yep, they were all crazy.
Yeah. So there's so many good movies though. Like I was talking about the Wild Bunch earlier. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Yeah.
Taxi Driver. Chinatown. Probably Roman Polanski, in my opinion, his best film. And like some people are like, well, what do they mean by Chinatown? I said, Chinatown doesn't mean nothing. Like, the guy tells at the end, he goes, come on, Jake, let's go home, man. It's just Chinatown. It's like their way of explaining away something they can't explain. Like there's nothing you can do about it. It's Chinatown. But I don't know. It's a good movie. There are a lot of good movies out there. Harold and Maude's a great movie.
Yeah.
It's an underrated movie. But Outlaw Josie Wales has got so many great stuff in it. It's just it may be my favorite Clint Eastwood movie.
It's mine. It's my if you'd categorize like your favorite horror movies, and I said that Raiders, Empire, and Jaws, those are just my all-time 3 favorite. But my favorite Western is Outlaw Josie Wales. That's just so.
Yeah.
The way he spits, and he just spits on the dog, and he spits on the cockroaches, and
he's like, that dog's going to bite you.
Yep. But Tombstone's a good one. Monty Python, Holy Grail. The best part about that movie is the best part about Monty, and I think Rod might agree with me, is I love the end when the cops show up and they start arresting people. I think that's so funny because it just totally breaks everything.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just like, you guys are a bunch of idiots filming. Like, what are you doing running around with these swords?
And these coconuts.
Yeah, and these coconuts. That is the smartest. Who'd have thought of that? They're sitting here talking about the coconuts, and where'd you get those coconuts? What do you mean?
I love the rabbit. It's just like destroying him. He's like, we can't do another frontal assault. That rabbit is dynamite. It's like, let's go get the holy hand grenade of Antioch.
Yeah. He's got big teeth.
The rabbit, they're like, oh, it's just a rabbit. That rabbit goes, and I like the part where John Cleese is in the castle, and they're like, we already got the grill. We don't want to help you find the grill. And he's like, I fart in your general direction. Your mother smells of elderberries. But also like the part where they're like, it's just a wacky, wonderful movie, and it was produced by like Led Zeppelin and George Harrison.
Yeah.
This was even crazier. And they did that. He also produced Harrison produced Life of Brian because they couldn't get it made. Yeah, and that too. He's like, well, why are you producing? He goes, because I want to get it. I want to see this movie. I want to watch it. So I want to give you the money to make it. Yeah. Tom Bettis is awesome. It's a good movie.
Rob, what are your favorite 3 movies, man?
That's an awful hard thing for me to decide. There's It's a Wonderful Life would definitely be in my top movies. But also, I haven't seen a lot of movies. Growing up, I never got to go to the movies. So like all the almost all the movies you guys talk about, I've never seen them. I've seen the Star Wars movies, I've seen the Indiana Jones movies, I've seen stuff like that. But nothing like the famous Westerns and stuff like that. I pretty much haven't seen very many of any of that stuff. So mine would be It's a Wonderful Life, because I love anything with Jimmy Stewart in it, basically.
Yeah, Jimmy Stewart was great.
I don't think I have favorite movies. I have like favorite. I mean, Pirates of the Caribbean, I really loved a lot when it came out. It was just took me by surprise that it was so damn good.
Same here.
The original one, you know, and so that would maybe be one of them. You know, other than that, it'd be like Mary Poppins or something like that because it's just such a classic children's movie. You know that I know that I've watched a gazillion times and stuff like that. But anything classic, really, Wizard of the Oz, you know, stuff like that. Anything with a somewhat of a fantasy. You know, I love musicals. I know, Joe, you don't like musicals. I love musicals. I find it fascinating, you know, to watch a movie like that where everybody just bursts into song wherever the hell they feel like it, and yet you watch it. It's not. It doesn't. You know, for me, it doesn't take me out of that movie or whatever. I mean, to me, that's the best parts of the movie are when they're singing, but most of the time. But
there's so many great movies. I can't. I mean, I have to break them down in like eras of movies and like genres.
Yeah, eras. You know, favorite actors, favorite. You know, I mean, that's like okay. I mean, if I would say favorite Disney movies, then I could maybe come up with a list. You know,
but like
whatever.
I grew up watching old movies with my mom. My dad loved like old westerns. My mom, I remember watching. I have fond memories of watching Casablanca with my mom, and I thought even as a kid, I thought Ingrid Bergman was so beautiful. And she was.
Oh yeah.
And just the whole movie's just great. And like the older I got, the more I appreciate it. Like usually when I was a kid, you'd be like, I gotta watch this stupid black and white movie with my mom. But now I have fond memories of that movie, and I watch it by myself. And like I remember watching The Searchers with my dad, and looking back at that movie, the cinematography in that movie is amazing. The colors they use, I think it's Panavision Technicolor, and there's a scene where John Wayne's in the cabin, and he pulls the door open, or no, she pulls the door up and sees John Wayne riding up, right? And you open it up, and it's this beautiful panoramic shot of Monument Valley.
Yep.
All those colors and stuff, the painted desert. And it's just like, you know, great movie. It's and then John Wayne's such a-hole in that movie, but you kind of don't like him he's kind of a racist in it too, but it's a good movie because they're like, until you find out, like, what's his name? Hunter, what's his name?
Where'd you go?
Captain Kirk. Anyway, I don't know what I'm saying, but you know what I'm saying. It said Ian Hunter. Was that his name? The guy.
Oh yeah.
He played Jesus and
Tab Hunter.
Something like that. Yeah.
Tab Hunter.
And he's like, and he got a young
Natalie Wood's in that.
Natalie Wood's in it. Yeah. And
my favorite. I like that when you said cinematography. That beginning scene there where they're going into when they're fighting the Indians, whatever. And there's that shot of John Wayne riding his horse and he's shooting his rifle.
Yeah.
And the way the camera, I mean, it was massive. It's massive.
Yeah.
But just the fact that, you know, you got this, you know, John Wayne was what, 6'5", 250 pounds. He's on this horse. He was a skilled rider too. But just the way that shot was set up, you're just like watching it, and it's amazing. It really is. It's amazing.
Take it all day to set that up too. I can't imagine how long it took him to set that shot up.
Probably longer than that, you know.
Yeah, and it's got some great, the old school character actors. Like I can't remember the guy's name, but he was the guy that was the trail boss in Wagon Train. And he was in so many movies. He was like the cop in Grapes of Wrath. There's another movie. If you have never seen Grapes of Wrath with Henry Fonda, you have to see it. I would suggest read the book first, though, because they leave a lot out. But yeah, the last scene where he's talking to his mother and he's on the run.
Yeah.
They killed a guy. And it's very, you'll think some people think some of these older movies are not that emotional, but it's a very emotional ending, that movie. He's like, I've got to go, Mom.
Yep. Yeah, Henry Fonda, it's a good movie.
I love the stuff like that. Just like didn't you hear the stories about these old movies? And like the Treasure of the Sierra Madre with Humphrey Bogart and my dad, we used to watch Captain Blood or Captain Kidd, I don't know what it was called, Errol Flynn.
Yep.
Robin Hood. I think he did if I'm mistaken, didn't he do a version of what's the movie? It's a
Robin
book by
Hood?
Alexander Dumas. It's called The Count of Monte Cristo. I think he did a movie like that. And although there was a remake of that like in the 90s, it wasn't bad with Jim Caviezel.
Yeah, that was really good. That was a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, the old horror movies. I love Phantasm, Rod. Phantasm's one of my favorite.
Yeah. What about the old Salem's Lot? I love the old Salem's Lot.
Yep, that was awesome.
Creep Show, all that stuff, like the anthology horror movies,
But Library put in there one of my favorite 80s horror movies is Return of the Living Dead.
Yes.
I love that movie. It's so cheesy.
Yeah, Dawn of the Dead is amazing too.
Yep.
The original, not the remake. Although the remake wasn't bad, but like there ain't nothing better than like the original. You had like Tom Savini doing like the effects in them. So
yep.
I don't know. I just think the practical effects they hit different. Like in The Thing, I don't think that it would look good in CGI. Like when the guy the head comes off and then the spider legs grow out of its head, and just you're like off kilter. And then Russell has the line, "What the hell is that?" What is that? And I just love that, all that kind of stuff. The Shining, yeah. Although Stephen King hated that movie because it kind of just Kubrick does his own thing. He's not going to follow the book exactly. But it's a great movie, but it doesn't really follow.
Give me a second here.
I got to go here in a little bit. I got to bathroom and get ready for this. Turn the overhead lights on because I'm getting ready to lose daylight for the show tonight. I try to make it like an hour. I talked so much last week on that show, Robert. I couldn't even talk for like 2 hours after that. It's just like, oh God.
Yeah, I'm like that sometimes after the Saturday shows. I do so much talking that my voice, my throat.
The thing about the claim sales, I keep doing this, and it makes my elbow. I get like tennis elbow or something.
Yeah,
I call it claim sale elbow.
Yeah,
I need to do it like you do it, where you just put them.
Yeah, that you can go a lot faster that way and show a lot more books.
I think I just need
that's
to get
the only reason I do
my tripod out
because I just show a lot more books. Yeah. But yeah, there's been when I've been on shows, when I'm on shows and we're showing comic books like this, because if that's how they're doing it, then I tend to do it that way and not go to the overhead camera. But yeah, there's been times where I'm just like, dang, this actually hurts after a little while,
All right.
He's back.
Well, I say we Rob, you got anything exciting going on this week at all, or
the shows all have new introductions every day of the week. So there's a new song with new animated covers every single day. So that you won't hear the same song every day and you just get sick of listening to it and seeing the same covers every day. So I mean, every Monday will be the same, every Tuesday will be the same, but they're different. And then starting tomorrow, the outros start. So the little stuff that I've shown you guys where I'm just, something happens, somebody walks in or whatever on me at the end of the show, that starts tomorrow.
Cool.
So those should be a lot of fun. There's one Well, I won't show you. I won't tell you. It won't be out for the my favorite one that I've done. It won't. Luckily I just posted it. I just posted all the episodes that I had recorded the day before my laptop went out, because I'd have been pissed if I'd lost a week's worth.
Oh
of
yeah.
Yeah, that wouldn't have been cool.
But the favorite outro that I did is in that week's shows somewhere. So I'm really glad that that one got posted in case I can't get them back, you know. But yeah, I need to get in the habit of backing everything up, and I don't normally do that. It's just such a pain in the butt to do it all the time.
Yeah, I run out of hard drive. I had to delete some early stuff, but
yeah,
it's still on YouTube. But I don't know what I do if something happens to that. But
no,
it's kind of embarrassing my
yeah.
first video.
The only other thing that I kind of hesitate to mention, because I haven't really made up my mind yet, but I may change some of the show stuff. I come to the realization that I'm actually not making any money. You know, I got my 1099 from Whatnot, or from PayPal. So I know how much I made, and I went through the Whatnot and printed out, or downloaded like the month for the year to see how much I had spent on Whatnot, and that's not including, and it's only short of that by like $2,000 of what I spent. Versus, I mean, I'm rich in comic books because I have thousands of them, right, that are sitting here. So I have inventory, but I don't have, that's, you can't eat inventory. So I need to make changes so that it will actually start making some money. I don't know what that's going to entail yet. So there'll be some changes coming down the road, but for now, for the next month or so, it'll be the same. Because those are already all recorded and posted on YouTube and stuff. But for right now, I've stopped filming because I've got some decisions to make on how to move forward with it.
Yeah.
And I might have to do a higher price point. I might have to, maybe do $3 instead of $2. Maybe charge for shipping instead of free shipping. Maybe just do it auction style like Aaron started doing. I mean, I was watching his Saturday show, right? That he did to take over for me, and I think it was Missing Mars. Man, he bid on a Bugs Bunny comic book. He bid $6 on. I mean, honestly, it looked like it had gone through a washing machine. It was such a mess. It was like, I mean, Aaron's got good books, but it was like this particular one. It had like a whole bunch of white stuff on the cover, like there was pieces missing, or there was something stuck on it, like it had gotten wet or something. And it was like, somebody bid $3. Missing Mars immediately went to $6, and I was just like,
I was there. Yeah.
I wouldn't. I mean, it was in such bad shape. It's not something I would have even put in the sales. So it was just like, I'm doing it wrong. I'm doing something wrong.
Yeah.
It's just like, I mean, I've broken even. That's fine, but the $2,000 difference doesn't take into account the other money I've spent at Comics Den or at Joe's. It doesn't count any of the shipping that I've paid for. That's just the cost of the books that I got off of Whatnot, and I spend a fortune on Whatnot. Like I said, I've got all the books still here to show.
That's why I just couldn't do
but
it.
You end up with so many that don't sell. If everything sold at $2, I'd be fine. It'd be like, yeah. But you get out of every 5 I lay down, I'm lucky if 2 sell. So
I gotta go, guys. I got
all right.
I got the show at like 6 o'clock. So
all right, cool.
See you, man.
All right.
So yeah, it's got to change. I just don't know for sure what that change is going to be yet, or what it's going to entail. I'm thinking, one of the things I'm thinking about, and I want to get people's input on it, is what I'm thinking about doing is changing it so that the boxes during the week that I show you can claim off of that show instead of waiting till Saturday for a claim show.
Oh, yeah.
And then doing an actual auction on the Saturday show. So instead of it being a $2 claim, it'd be okay. It starts at $3, but they would be the better books. They wouldn't have all the fluff with them, right? Those would be, more modern stuff that most people don't want. That would be in the boxes during the week, and then keep most of the older stuff or the better stuff for the actual auction. That would be a major change. And I didn't really want to do an auction, but I got to figure out a way to get more money out of the books. So, because if I kept going at $2, it's actually probably costing me money. Like I said, I'm rich in comic books, but not in, down the line. I needed to be in income. So probably changes coming down. But I think that might work because people have talked all the time, and sometimes they still try to just claim off the sale, off the show ahead of time, and I said, no, everybody else has seen it. I can't sell it to you, you gotta wait and try to get it on the claim sale. And a lot of people don't like the claim sales. It's hard to get in there. It's hard to win the book, so it's gotten to the point where the people are fighting each other for the book rather than the way it used to be, where we just gift each other books because we all got along and stuff. So maybe it's time for that change. I don't know. I just been thinking a lot about that yesterday, and then today it's got to shift, and somehow.
Yeah.
And I have been also, the other thing is right, I can't get 17, 20 cent, 30 cent books anymore, right? Because in order to get those books, you have to grab all the stuff that nobody wants, right? Green Arrow, Runs of Green Arrow, and Supergirl and stuff that most people just, unless you find the right person, they're not looking for it, and they're reluctant to spend even $2 on it because they know it's the dollar bin stuff that you can just go get for most people. So yeah, I got all these thoughts running through my head and thinking, okay, how do I keep it going and make it profitable, but not lose everybody from watching, and just stop it.
Well, yeah.
But prices are going up. Shipping went up, for the holidays, and it was supposed to come back down, and they did this big thing where it's like, oh, shipping's coming back down, and but it didn't go down to where it was before they raised it. It still costs more. So,
and I'm sure it'll get higher.
So. Yeah, and but I like the free shipping idea. I think that makes it simple for everybody. They know what they're paying, so I don't really want to do away with that. I'd rather make the price high enough where it just pays for it, but it's that's where I'm at. It's just like I said, it kind of sucks because I just got caught up on filming, so I'm back to like a month ahead where I should be.
Yeah.
And now it's like, okay, you need to stop.
Figure something out.
You need to just stop, figure out what's going on. And I still got thousands of books sitting here ready to go. It's just, the books I've been buying, they're costing more. They're costing $1 or a little more than $1 by the time you figure out shipping and taxes and stuff. And to turn around and sell those for $2, it just doesn't work. So.
I don't know.
I mean, if I was still doing, and the thing to keep in mind is when I started doing it, I didn't start out to make money. I started out to break even, and that's what I'm doing. I'm breaking even because I was looking to build my collection and have the collection pay for itself because I still had my business. I was still working. I thought that was going to be my retirement. And now because of my mom's health and stuff, that was no longer possible. So I was like, okay, well, the comic books are doing well. I can, shift to that, and we'll see how it did. And it's like, okay, well, now I've seen how it did, and now it's like, okay, it works for what I set it out to do, but that's no longer the case. Now I need it to be an income, and I don't need it to make a lot, but I need it to make something. I'm not going to just sit here and live off my mom's Social Security. That wouldn't even be possible, quite frankly. But, so the books, people are like, "Damn, Rob, you keep showing too much good stuff." I mean, you said that to me, Matt said that to me, and it's because those are books I picked. I'm still working my way through some of the stuff that I bought as bulk buys. But I don't do that anymore because so much of it doesn't sell. I end up just getting stuck with it.
Yeah.
And but in order to do that, I have to pay a higher price. So I'm paying a higher price but still selling it for $2. And it just don't work. So it either needs to go to $3 or save the better stuff for like an auction and hope I get more than $3 so that it helps pay for all the $2 stuff,
Yeah.
We'll just see how it goes.
Well, we'll still watch you, man.
Oh yeah. I'm people were watching me before I ever started doing the sales. That was never the intention of the channel. So that's what it became. And it's just it's just life. That's just
you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, changes have to be made in order to make it feasible to continue doing it. Because at this point, I probably spent more than I took in, but I also have a lot of inventory that's still sitting here that you guys haven't seen yet. So I'm just going by the numbers off of last year. I haven't checked like this last month or anything, but
well, and it's like if you raised it $1, you're still getting, a person's still getting a great deal on some of these books, especially the older ones.
Yeah, some of them.
So
and that's the thing, some of them. So any price increase that I do, the stuff they're not buying now, even those books aren't going to sell, right? I mean, sometimes some of those sell. Somebody will come in that's, they're collecting Uncanny X-Men for the first time, or they're replacing an old collection or whatever. So once in a while, it's like you getting the Modern Flashes, right? Those books normally don't sell for me, but every once in a while, somebody will come in and they'll like, oh, that's what I'm after, It's just getting those books in front of the right person at the right time. But it's just the way it is. I mean, preferably based on my costs, if I could sell it for $3, that'd be great. But if I do that, my sales are going to go down. I'm not going to sell as many books. So what I was thinking, what I'm leaning towards is still doing the $2 stuff, but a lot of the older stuff will go to the auction on Saturday rather than what you can claim during the week. I don't,
okay.
And so I need input. I need to know what people think of that. If anybody's got an opinion. I was actually thinking today about going live and talking about it or doing it tomorrow night. Just to get people's input, but I didn't want to, it's like the new songs are debuting and the new outros are debuting, and I don't want to take away from that. It's like, these are cool. I want people to like them but yeah, it's I mean, and the other thing is, like, I can always try doing a Whatnot sale again. I've always meant to try and go back to Whatnot again and just try to see what happens, because I've got the books that haven't sold on Saturday. There's about 12 long boxes so far. Well, 2, 4, 6, 8. There's 8 long boxes so far of books that didn't sell recently on the last however many claim sales, right?
Yeah.
Probably going back to before Christmas. And a lot of people keep expecting that stuff to show up in the blog spot. It's not going to. It's not, it may someday, but you're talking a year down the road because I'm going to try and sell it again, right? It's not, I'm not going to give it one shot and then it goes to Blogspot for $1. It's like, no, I can't do that. I can't afford to do that. So, the stuff that I put on Blogspot is stuff that's back here in the closet. It's been shown once or twice on mine. It's been shown once or twice on Aaron's, or once on mine and once on Aaron's. It's been at least through 2 claim sales, and nobody bought it before I'll put it on Blogspot. And all that other stuff, all the newer stuff, it's only been shown once. It's never been shown again. And there's some great stuff in there. There's stuff that I'm just like, there's stuff every week that I put aside. I got a box back here where it's like, this is never going to go on Blogspot, right? It would have to get rejected like 10 times before I'm like, okay, I'm the only one who actually likes this. This is, but so
yeah, I don't know. It's like,
you
ever, like library says here, $1. You ever thought about doing another $1 sale just to get rid of some books? Or
I've never done a $1 sale.
Oh, you haven't?
Nope. Because for many reasons, mainly because if you do it, you're lowering the value of your books. Because if, like, when Aaron does a $2 sale, I don't claim anything. I wait for the $1 sales.
Yeah.
Right. I don't. And that's the way I am. That's the way my customer base feels this pretty much the same way. I've told Aaron a whole bunch of times when he was talking about doing a $1 sale that if he does it, you're really kind of devaluing the books. If I was going to have a $1 sale, it would be on Whatnot. It would be on eBay. It would be somewhere else. It will never be on my channel.
Okay.
But I have other opportunities. I know people who own stores in town here where I've sold comics through them before, where I would go and just close out comics, sell them. A lot of my original collection that I had before I started doing these again was I sold them to a shop where I'm good friends with the owner for 50 cents a piece, just to get rid of them, because I didn't think I was ever going to get into comic books ever again. And they were just taking up room, and then eventually I did. And now I regret doing that. But at the time it was a good way to get rid of them, and then he was selling them for, I forget, by the time he stopped doing it, he was almost selling them for $3 a piece.
Oh, geez.
And that ticked me off a little bit because he never, I went in there one day. I was like, "Oh, you upped the price?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "But you're not giving me any more money."
Look at that, man.
I literally was selling him comics to help him out. At the same time, he was buying them because he thought he was helping me out.
Yeah.
So it was
so you were really helping him out.
Yeah. Well, not really, because they weren't selling at that price.
Right? Oh, I suppose.
When he had them at $2, they would sell. When he went to $3 or $2.99 or whatever, he was like, "You got any more?" Because the ones he had weren't selling. And it's like, well, it's because you're charging too much,
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't. I gotta hand it to you guys. I could never. I don't know. Have the patience.
Yeah, and library saying, blow them out for $1 to break even and clear space, and it's like, yeah, I'm breaking even now. So anything I sell, even if it's at $1, technically is profit, I guess, for the most part. But then people are less willing to pay the $2, But then I see like the Bugs Bunny on Heritage Show going for $6. It looks like something I wouldn't even run, and it's just like I'm doing it wrong. I'm doing it wrong, But at the same time, I mean, basically, when I'm watching Aaron's show, it's I think Under the Cowl and Missing Mars, and maybe I shouldn't be calling them out like that, but they're the ones going higher on those books, and I don't want to only have 2 customers, right? So, I it's just hard decisions. It's hard because you don't know what's going to happen. Any change you make, it's going well now. So any change I make could backfire, and it's like doing the and I started doing the membership program. I was astonished that anybody was going to pay me $10 a month just because, right? So I tried doing books to make it worthwhile. Every 10th book is you get a free one. I changed that to a book that they would want, because I was giving some people books that they didn't really want, and the giveaway every week. I try to make sure that's really good, and then for Christmas I was like, I really need to thank these guys. I gave everybody that was a member a Savage Sword of Conan, and half the people dropped out.
Oh, really? Oh, dang.
So it's down to like 5 people. I think we were up to 9, with a couple other people like interested. So I thought we were going to go to 10 and above. And it's like, and the thing is I haven't gotten any of that money, not a cent of it, because YouTube pays to AdSense, but they wait a month. They only put into AdSense once a month, right? But then AdSense needs a balance of $100 before they'll send it to you. So I'm with the big percentage that Yahoo takes out. I'm like at $94 or something like that on that account. And the other month hasn't been sent yet. So it's just sitting there. I mean, it's there. It's mine. Eventually I'll get it if more money goes into the account. But I'm like, at this point, it's like I've given away a lot of books and I haven't seen a dime. And I've definitely given, with the Savage Sword of Conan's, I thought that would inspire more people to join. And I mean, I wanted to give them something nice. I would have done it anyway. But the side effect was that what I was hoping for was that more people would join and say, oh, wow, this is a great deal, And instead, people dropped out. And it's because, people are getting laid off. The economy, it's the holidays, it's tax time. I get it, but it's like, I mean, I was looking today, I was like, how do I cancel this? I don't want to do this anymore. How do I cancel the membership? I can't find a way to cancel it.
Oh, geez.
It looks like I have to completely back out of being monetized and not, or close off the partnership with AdSense or whatever. And I've got AdSense revenue that comes in from another source. So it's just like, and then how do you make sure that the people that did pay, because they're all paying at different times, right? It's not like it charges you at the beginning of the month. It's like they're all coming in at whenever they join. So it's like the 19th, the 26th, the whatever. And it's like, okay, there's no practical way to just shut this down. But should I shut it down? Because it's still revenue. It's just I haven't seen it yet. And but I know like the giveaway for what would have been Saturday's show that I'll be doing Saturday is not as good a book as I would normally give out. Because I mean, it's still a good book, but it's not as high level because the money's not there to pay for it. When I was getting excited about it, it was like, okay, let's keep this going. Let's get more people joining. And this is stuff I don't normally talk about. It's behind the scenes crap that probably a lot of people don't care about, but because, you don't want it to look like you're trying to make a living off of this, but at the same time, you're trying to make a living off of this.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Oh no, we all understand, man. I mean, you're just what you're doing right now.
My mom, honestly, that's all I'm trying to do. But
just kind of venting and letting it all out, man. It's all good.
Yeah,
we all get it.
So it's
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm reading library's comments, and he's right. Yeah, if I did $1 sale, it would sell. I would do all right. I'd sell a bunch of books, and but it would also, if I'm going to do that, I'm going to do it on Whatnot, because I need it. If I can set up a second revenue stream on the books, because there's always going to be leftover books, right? There's always, no matter what price point you put them at, there's always going to be leftover books. So, and what I have done is I've run flat rate boxes, right? I did a flat rate. I don't know how many flat rate boxes of these, like this size, I sold filled with comics for like $20, $25, whatever it was I was running them for. The only person that bought them was Swag. Nobody else wanted them. And that's a heck of a lot less than $1 a book. So, you know, you try different things, you see what works and what doesn't, and you try to make judgment calls. But my experience in business, that you don't discount your product. If you have something you need to discount, you do it through another stream. You do it somewhere else.
Another source, yeah.
Yeah. So,
well, it's like selling cars. When I used to sell cars, it's like anything that's been on the lot that nobody wants, we're not going to lower the price on them, but we'll send them off to auctions.
Yeah.
You know, car auctions and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Because that's, you know, you're going to get more at the car auction. You could get less, but you're not doing it with the dealership. You're not showing customers that you're, you know,
right,
like you said, you know.
Yeah, it's the exact same mentality. Yeah, it's just because otherwise you got people coming in. It's like, well, if you lowered the price on this one, how come this one is this much? You know,
exactly.
It's I mean, I get complaints now at $2. You know, it's just you know, it's you know, I mean, if I show a book and the cover's off, it's loose, unless it's a key book, it's not going to sell. You know, but then I watch the other guys, and I'm just like, if that was if that was on my sale, they wouldn't have bought it, right? That beat up Bugs Bunny, if that had been on my sale, they would not have bought it. And so
I have no idea, man.
I know that they wouldn't have bought it on my sale, and because it doesn't match my usual quality of what I do have, and I just that's got my mind really going in circles, because it's just like, you know.
Yeah.
But
it's kind of a shit deal, I guess.
You know? Yeah, well, it's just you know, people are free to buy whatever they want. It's just like, and I don't know. I'm just like, I looked at it. I'm like, did he not see that it was that bad a shape before he bid? Because, you know, I mean, people are on their phones. They're doing other stuff. You know, a lot of times, you know, people come in and they'll backtrack on my show. They're trying to claim books from 15, 20 minutes earlier because they were off doing something else. And it's like, so everybody's not like sit there glued to it, you know? But I mean, I don't think I would have even bought that book for $1 myself. And I buy crap books, right? I buy books without covers and ripped covers and stuff. And I just, but if that much damage was just like, he just paid $6 for that. And I'm like, I don't
see. I don't care what a book looks like. Like I say, it's like,
right. And a lot of us don't. But
for $2, I will. But I wouldn't go above that.
Yeah, well, that's
You
the
know,
way I'm at. If I buy something that turns out to have missing pages or whatever, I don't care. It's only $1. It's only 30
Yeah.
cents. It's whatever. You know, it's not worth getting upset about. But
to have it, to have that.
But to get one that you know is beat up for $6 is like, I'm,
Yeah.
you know, kind of blows my mind a little bit. Where it's like, what am I doing?
What am I doing wrong? Yeah.
What am I doing wrong here? Because you know, I mean, everybody loves the sales, everybody's doing good and stuff, and
I don't know. It's all right, man. We still love you, Rob. It's all right.
Yeah, well, Library's next comment there makes sense too. He says, I think with Aaron getting in a big bid on a beater, I think that happens occasionally as kind of a gift tip to Aaron. And that's possible, especially with Missing Mars, because Missing Mars is very generous. What people don't know about him is he always, every time he's bought from me, sent extra money to help with shipping. So it's very possible that he did that, you know, just as a way of tipping Aaron and giving him extra money. So that could be.
Yeah.
That would make
more sense.
That would actually make a lot of sense. Yeah. So that may have been what happened, except the fact that he bid against somebody else for it. That's why it went that high, right? So he took it immediately from $3 to $6. So it was just like, dang. But
well, all right, here.
So yeah, that's what I got going on, and my mind is like. So part of the reason I was so depressed yesterday, it was like, I don't know if I want to keep doing this, but I have to, and and the whole thing with the laptop, and then I was trying to get my laptop set up yesterday, and it was like, it takes you a half hour to find this password and that password, and so it just sucks.
Yeah. But yes, all right. Well,
it'll get better.
It's good to vent, man. It's good to vent. Yeah, that is kind of funny, but it's somebody. All right. Well, thanks everybody for coming on here and watching. I'd like to thank Higgy Pop, of course, Rob, Mike, Easy Comic Reader, Matt, Kevin showed up, Random Reads. So I'd like to thank everybody, and thanks for the chat. Dr. Silver Age, Library, everybody commenting, Collector. We had Lady Brazen was on here. Who else we have on here? We had quite a few. Camcorder Nonsense. So yeah, thanks guys for showing. And got one more here from Library.
Good luck, Rob.
Good luck, Rob. And my wave of sales to you.
That's what it is. It's a mite. I'm sure he meant mighty. But
yeah. All right. Well, everybody have a rest of your weekend. Enjoy any football you watch today. I don't know what your team is or if they're even the ones you want. But and we'll see you guys again soon. Thank you.
See you guys.